Hello, you guys. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. I gotta remember to look at this side, not that side. I think the camera is on this side, it's on this way. Today, like I said, I wanted to tell you more about us. So, the more people that are watching this video, the more I think it would be helpful for you to have a little background of who we are. I don't know what I'm gonna tell you about because I could probably talk for hours about our story, but in a few minutes, I'll go real quick about our story. So, I moved to Canada in 2003. I worked at a hotel specifically in downtown Vancouver for years. And I started as a banquet server, and eventually I became the banquet manager to the ownership had two different hotels, one by the airport, smaller hotel, a Westin hotel, and I was a banquet manager there. Amber went to school here in Toronto. She grew up in Brampton, was born in Mississauga. As you know, some of you, her grandmother adopted her with her new husband. Her biological grandfather had passed, and she went to school for hotels, for tourism. So she was working at a front desk kind of at a Westin here in Toronto. And one of the I guess upper management people at the hotel where I was working at a Sheraton, she came on a task for a year, met Amber and asked her if she wanted to go back with her to work in Vancouver. Amber had been looking for a job to go work at a different city. When she walked in my office and she was introduced to me, I just like melted. I had come out of a long-term relationship. I saw Amber. I thought she was totally out of my league, but my jaw just dropped. And for a year, I would see it around like, hello, hello, see it in some meetings. She was a front desk manager and manager, or anyways, she worked in manager, supervisor, front desk. About a year later, the hotel sponsored the participation in the Sun Run. It's a 10K, very famous run in Vancouver. And there were about 20 or 30 of us, sponsored by the hotel, running this event. The hotel created or was hosting a banquet for us for after the run. It was super cool. These people treated us always like amazing, very amazing. In the run, Amber was in front of me and I just couldn't believe how beautiful she was, how soft, how kind, how gentle. And we went for the run. When we went to the banquet back in the hotel, I made sure that I was sitting in front of her because I really wanted to talk to her. Very casual. At that point, I already had a son from my first marriage. So I wasn't really looking. I still thought that she was out of my league, and I actually didn't want to have any more relationships. I didn't want anything else. A few months later, I organized a paddleboarding outing. In Vancouver, we have the ocean, we have lakes. A few of our colleagues were into it. There were about 6-8 people. And they all said yes, we were gonna go paddleboarding this one time. And as the date approached, as we got closer to the date of going paddleboarding, everyone started canceling. I guess we got busy or things were happening and people were like, sorry, I can't go anymore. When I went to Amber's office to let her know that we were not doing this anymore, she said, and I told her, well, everyone canceled, maybe next time. She said, well, I still want to go. That was it, guys. We went on that paddleboarding the next day, outing, just the two of us, had a romantic date, just getting to know each other. But I remember us floating in the middle of the ocean in Kids Beach, or in Kids Beach for like the last half hour of our a couple hour paddle boarding thing, and just floating, just there, just contemplating everything. It was just so cool, so beautiful. A few days later, maybe a couple of weeks later, we went dancing. The week after, we went dancing again, and then that day I had brought an orchid, because I think it was I just got it an orchid. And then at 11 p.m. I said, well, I gotta work in the morning. I'm leaving, but I've got a present for you in the car. And she's like, well, I wanna go home too. And so I gave her the present. I offered her a ride. I took her home and I dropped her off. And that was it, you guys. Oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it. We kissed, dropped her off. I went home. And a few weeks, probably a week after, ever since we've been together pretty much every day. I started staying at the apartment. A month later, we knew we wanted to get married, that we wanted to be with each other forever. I remember we were still not intimate or anything. And I remember both of us looking at each other saying, I'm so relieved that my search for the perfect person has ended. We went to, I invited her to a lake. There are many lakes in Vancouver. That place is just so beautiful. The West Coast is amazing. And in one of the lakes, we were holding hands, and I told her, no, it was the second lake that we went to, Alice Lake, up in Squamish. And I was like, Amber, you know what? I love you. I just love you so much. And I know we're just starting to date, but I love you. And she's like, I love you back. Maybe around there. It's been a month of dating, and we're like, our search has ended. And we started talking about like, you know what, one day we'll get married and all of this. That's the beginning of our story. She moved in with me 6 months, 8 months later. She became really good friends with my son, who was always half of the time with us now. We got a little pet. We lived there for 3 years. We went on road trips. We loved going to the farmer's market, going swimming, exploring lakes, going on hikes. It's so easy to do in the West Coast. And in 2016, I proposed. Well, she kind of like asked like, okay, bro, like, are you gonna propose of what? I proposed in September for her birthday. This is 2016. And I started to work on an online business as I was also working full-time in the hotel. She went for Christmas. She came here to Ontario for Christmas, and when she went back to Vancouver in January, she had been feeling a little lump. At that point, never mind. I proposed, we got married in 2017. I started working on a business. And so in 2018, they did a biopsy and they found cancer. Life changed. We had bought tickets to go to Colombia, bring our son. I think someone is coming in. I'm just gonna keep going. Well, a car. Anyways. We canceled the tickets. The trip didn't happen because of it. We also had tickets to go see one of our favorite artists from Colombia. His name is Carlos Vives. We're gonna travel to the other province. That was the beginning of the first journey, if you will. In 2018-19, we searched for different answers. She didn't want radiation and chemo. There were many testimonies of other people healing from cancer with many different integrative cancer care methodologies, therapies, and whatnot. No, pause. Okay, she's good. For 2 years, we searched. She had traditional Chinese medicine here as one of the main things, one of the main supports. And she got better. She went back to work in 2019. For 3 months, she was okay. And then they came back again. In 2020, her inflammation was really out of control, and she chose to do radiation. After a few months, after 37 rounds, and a couple months later, and she was also, her parents borrowed a bunch of money. They spent about $150,000 on integrative cancer therapies and vitamins and supplements and travel. We went to the States looking for answers as well. We drove down to San Diego twice. We almost went to Mexico. It was really hard on everyone. Then she was healed. 2020, later on, when the pandemic started, she was healed. She was told, you are healed. Your cancer is gone. None. Zero. You're good to go. This is like May, June, July of 2020. And for 3 years, you guys, we went through a pandemic happy because she was just healed. While everyone was having such a hard time, there was that for us. Through those years, my career ended, her career ended. She had changed jobs and a few other things. And for 3 years, I started looking for other careers. I ended up doing building maintenance. The job was okay. No, the job was amazing, but it didn't pay enough. I didn't have benefits. We were struggling financially. Her parents were still supporting us in different ways. We lived in a basement suite for years. This couple upstairs, they were amazing. And their daughters, they hosted us almost. They gave us a really good price for rent. They knew that Amber was going through all these things, and she had just, it was during the time that she was still going through treatment. Then she healed and all of this, and in 2023,